What is up, traders? Welcome back to yet another exciting video. Today we're going to be looking at US 100 and US 30. I want us to look at what happened the previous week and what is likely to happen this week. First, we're going to be starting with US 100, and I always like starting on the weekly chart. And the candle that we're going to be focusing on is this candle right here to see what price actually did the previous week. When I zoom out, we can clearly see that the market was actually dropping. This is a very strong downtrend right here. And I'm just going to draw another symmetrical line on the other side. And when I zoom in, I can clearly see that the market was failing to push below this level right here. This is a very strong support level. And I always say that if the market is actually coming from a support level, there are very high chances that the market is going to continue pushing to the upside. And if price is actually coming from a resistance level the previous weeks, there is a very high chance that the market is going to continue pushing down in that direction. What we see right here is that price was actually coming from a very strong support level. We see there is a touch right there. There's another touch right there. And there is another touch right there. And remember, this is a weekly chart, so this is a very strong support level, and this indicates that the market is actually going to continue pushing to the upside because price is coming from a very strong support level. When we zoom in very closely, we can see that we have a double bottom right here. We have a touch right here and another touch right here. We have two equal lows that imply that the market is actually reversing to the upside. Price was coming all the way from the upside and it came to this level and it started making equal lows, indicating that the market is actually trying to reverse to the upside. And when we zoom even closer, let's look at a smaller time frame. Let's go to an H1. When we go to an hour chart, we can clearly see that price actually broke out of this. Price actually broke out of that trend right there, and it was actually playing at this area right here. What I always say is that when the market is not clearly indicating what it is trying to do, or when the market is not clearly giving you proper corrective moves in your desired direction, you have to wait for the market to give you proper corrective moves before you can start trading. When the market is doing something like this, it is best to actually step out of the market and wait for it to continue giving you strong impulsive moves and wait for your corrective moves before you can continue pushing all the way to the upside. What I see right here is that the market actually pushed all the way to the upside. I would have been out of this trade unless I hopped onto a smaller time frame to look for those minor retracements and continue pushing all the way to the upside. But when you are on an H1, you want to wait for the market to actually give you a proper corrective move, and the market actually came back to this level right here. When I stretch out this level like this, we can clearly see that this was previously a strong resistance level. Price was actually failing to push above this level. It actually ended up pushing above this level, and there were very high chances that the market was going to continue pushing all the way to the upside, and that's exactly what happened. The market actually pushed above this level. It gave us a very strong corrective move, and that's when it started pushing all the way to the upside. But let's look to see what is likely to happen moving forward. I can clearly see that the market was actually pushing the whole of last week. It was actually pushing all the way to the upside, and this actually tells me that the market is likely going to continue pushing all the way to the upside until somewhere either this level or this level right here. So I just have to wait for the market to give me a proper corrective move, because what I see right now is that price actually gave us a huge impulsive move. I have to wait for the market to give me a corrective move before I can continue pushing all the way to the upside. What you have to understand about corrective moves is that they don't always form like that. They can price can either come all the way to this support level right here, or price can give us something like this before it continues pushing all the way to the upside. So you just have to understand how price moves and look for these patterns within the market, because that is how the market actually moves. So I would actually wait for the market to give me either something like this or to push all the way to my support level before I can continue with my buy. And this would be my last TP right here. This level, this is where I would actually stop, because I know that price is in an overall downtrend, and there are very high chances that the market can start reversing to the downside, unless if price actually continue giving me proper corrective moves moving forward. If price continue giving me like this, that's when I would actually continue pushing with the market all the way to the upside. But of course, price can actually start reversing to the downside. If price actually starts breaking my lows, these lows right here, that's when I would actually know that price is actually trying to push all the way to the downside, and I'm going to start looking for my sell setups to push all the way to this level right here. Let's look at US30 to see what happened the previous week and what is likely to happen this week. Let me just remove everything. Start on the weekly chart. When we hop onto the weekly chart, we can clearly see that the market was actually moving in an overall uptrend. When I draw my line like this, we can clearly see that the market is actually moving in an overall uptrend. And it has this nice channel right there. And price actually pushed all the way to the downside and broke out of this channel right here. So price was actually making lower lows and lower highs, hit this level, and it ended up breaking out of this channel right there with a strong impulsive candle. When I zoom even closer, we can clearly see that we have a strong impulsive candle that broke out of this trend line, and it gave us a strong corrective move. So price actually retested this level right here. This is a very strong buy zone, and the market actually started pushing all the way to the upside. What we can see is that, let's look at a daily chart. The market was actually coming from a strong support level. This is a very strong demand zone that the market was at, and it was actually pushing from that zone. When I draw a level like this, you can clearly see that this is a very strong level, stretching it all the way to the back. This was support, this was support, this is resistance, and it has now turned into a demand zone. The market actually pushed above this level and started pushing all the way to the upside. When I hop onto an hour chart, let's see what happened there. You can clearly see that the market pushed all the way to the upside, came back to form a corrective move. And after this corrective move, price just started pushing all the way to the upside. So price was in an overall uptrend the whole of last week, and I am of the opinion that price is going to continue pushing all the way to the upside until we reach these levels right here. But what I see right now is that price is actually in its impulsive phase. It is at a resistance level, and I always say that it is not wise to actually start trading at a resistance level thinking that price is going to continue pushing all the way to the upside. It is also not advisable to take sells in a market like this because it is in an overall uptrend. If you can clearly see, the market moves very tiny. It gives you tiny sell moves because it is in an overall uptrend. What you want to look for rather is for the market to give you a corrective move before you can continue pushing with it to the upside. So price can either come back to my support level right here before I can start looking for buys, or it can actually give me a corrective pattern before I can continue pushing with it all the way to the upside. So this is my projection on US30, and I'm looking for the market to push all the way to the upside. But of course, price can actually break my trend line and start pushing all the way to the downside if it actually violates structure and start giving me indications that it wants to push to the downside. That's when I'm going to focus on my sells to push all the way to the downside. But for the time being, I can clearly see that the market actually wants to continue pushing all the way to the upside. I just have to wait for it to give me a proper setup before I can start preparing my buys to push all the way to the upside. I hope you guys actually gained so much value from this video, from how I actually approach the market and how I analyze the market. If you did, please do make sure that you hit that thumbs up, like this video right now, and subscribe if you didn't. It doesn't take too long. It just literally takes 2 seconds to like and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe so that we can grow this channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.